I think the most important thing is not the architecture of the place or the programs of the place or whatever it's people would may have the first attraction. But for me, it's the vision of the place. And the vision, actually, it is not a vision of the place only, it's a vision of the people themselves. It's the vision of, I have it inside me from the beginning. And the vision is driven from its name, anaphora. So the vision of anaphora is lifting up every person, the whole person. But how can you lift up a person? No one can lift anyone up unless they are able to kneel down first. So here you see the globality of the vision itself. It's lifting up every person, the whole person. It's something global, so from within. But at the same time, it's the know-how. It is the process of kneeling down. And kneeling down here is not a process of humility or prayers only. It's a process of changing your mindset and bringing it to action. And the mentality that you live in, is it a mentality of isolation, segregation, or is it a mentality of reaching out, communications, connecting with others, wherever they are? And that's the point here. Kneeling down is an act of connections. It's the same like God did with us. He wanted to communicate with human beings. So he became human, like us. So sometimes to communicate with people, you need to assimilate them in one way or another. So assimilation here is just like a moment of truth that after all, we are able to reach to one another on a very basic platform. And how to do that, it needs a lot of work within us. So here, information is not the only thing that we need. Information is simply something that we need to start with. But information needs to connect, to unite with experience. And when experience and information are intertwined, information becomes knowledge. It's a big gap between information and knowledge. And the difference here is experience. And the experience should not be only an experience from the surface. It's an experience that is profound, a knowledge that is having roots within yourself. And that means whatever you see, whatever you meet in life, you need to connect it to the inner person, and the inner person here will do this transformation of the knowledge, of the information to become knowledge. And that knowledge is a beautiful gift of God to the person, but it needs to mature. If it does not mature, it will stay a question mark. Why I am having this, why I feel that, and why not the others are doing it. It's always creating a drift between people, because someone has an experience, someone does not have the experience. But here, the maturity of the knowledge would make it turn into a vision. And here the vision, as if you just like got two wings of the spirit and just fly up and then look to the world from up. And that vision would be the driving force in your own life. But if you stay all the time and up there, you will lose connections. Then vision needs to incarnate and become actions, something tangible that you need to feel. And then it's again, when you feel this action, people would talk about it. It would turn again to a new kind of informations that the cycle will continue. So here at Anaphora, we love to have the cycle visible in the minds of people, because this is the one way that we feel that we may connect to one another. We may see the differences in one another, but we may see also a beautiful platform that we would live together with for a common vision. And the vision actually could be implemented in anywhere, in any context, with lots of people. Just try to see, you may kneel down to lift someone up. It happens every day to you that you meet a gift of God to you, a person that God would send you, and this person, it's a gift. And there, can we make this cycle inside us, and I may kneel down, connect, meet, reach out, and see that person from a perspective of the vision that we may see, lift up a person. And that's why this place, the beauty of it for me, it never ends, actually. Maybe other people will see it like, oh yes, I look at these places, then I know it. But for me, it's the people. And the beauty of humanity is much more than any other beauty. It's the crown of the creation. It's the most important and the most amazing creature. Every person has a certain beauty if you just come closer and see that beauty in that person. And the beauty that we are the image of God. We are. So that vision of this place, of Anaphora, is my energy giving, my beauty that I would always enjoy, and the beauty is the people when they come here. But one thing I needed to do, and I would love that maybe you may see it as well in your own personal life. When I meet someone, I always tend to put a frame to that person. Where they are from, it's one frame. If they are educated, non-educated, it's another frame. Rich and poor, it's a frame. Political stand, it's a frame. It's frames. And suddenly you create a very big frame. And this frame, I needed to put that person inside the frame. Because this is the way that I understand. I need to put people in frames. This is like what the digital era is creating in us. And the digital era is actually just like putting people in frames, in icons, and you have to put them in these icons. And then here is the frame. And I would see that person from that perspective. Very little narrow space for the person. And the bigger space is for the frame. Then you deal with that other person according to that frame. Jesus did not put frame on people before he dealt with. And he's asking us to break the frames. Break these kind of frames that we create. He lived in a context that there is a big separation between the Jews and the Samaritan. And imagine that Jesus will go to a Samaritan woman and talk with her about spirituality, about worship, about salvation. Yes, he has roots. He was able to give her the spring of water for her own life. But still, he was able to communicate, break the frame, and then meet the person. And even when he wanted to give us a good example of love and doing something good, he gave us the story of the Good Samaritan. Not a Jew, not a rabbi, not a Levi, not this. But he gave us the story of the Good Samaritan. He praised the faith of the Roman centurion. He is a Roman, and he's a centurion. He's one of those symbol of authority for them. But still, he opened it up. And that's why I say to myself, if I'm able to break the frame when I meet people, then I meet a person, a human being, created on the image of God, then the beauty of this creation, the beauty of that image would join in the beauty that I have of the image of God, then I would be able to break these barriers and join that other person and meet on a different platform. And that's why you see in Anaphora here lots of people from different kinds, from different backgrounds, and this is the vision. And then I feel like I enjoy seeing people from different places, because this is the will of God, actually. Because in eternity, St. John saw that from all nations, from all tribes, from all tongues, from all... and here, can we see humanity outside of those frames, political, socio-economics, mentalities, ideas, principles, whatever kind of traditions, and see a human being who is much more than any other thing. And this is, I feel like, the joy for me when I see people from different backgrounds, from different countries, coming, meeting together at the same place, at the same platform. We are not to change other people, but we are to understand, to love the whole world, to make communications, to respect, to honor the upbringing of every person, and then to see how we can build much more common goals to help the societies around us, to help humanity. And this is what we are trying to do here. That's why, if the vision is good and the mean to implement the vision is good, then it needs to incarnate into something. Then we need to have concrete stuff, because we cannot just live on air. Human being has to have a ground. We need to put our feet on the ground. Even if we move, we need to fix one leg and let the other leg free. Then we are able to move, and then maybe change. But we cannot, by no means, have the two legs free. We need fixity and fluidity together. But how fixity and fluidity together meets and interact together without spirituality? If you look at the human body, and we forget about the soul for a moment, or the spirit for a moment, I'm not talking about in this, but the human body itself. And if you look at it, and you can break it down into three main components: solid matters, some bones and some hard stuff and things like that. And you have some fluids, a few buckets of water, of fluids, and air. The solid matters, the bone, is representing the fixity, the identity, the measurable things that I need to have it fixed. But too much of it, it will not give the fluidity. Then I need the fluidity, I need the water inside me. Then everything is cycling, it's moving. But without the air that's coming in me, all this, the fluidity will stop growing, and then it becomes like dead thing. So here, if we are able to implement programs or projects or whatever, we need to have the three components: fixity, fluidity, and spirituality. And that's how we see programs in this place. Then people need to touch it, it needs to grow and have renewal, and also it needs to have a spiritual goal for it. Then here we put the spiritual program as one of the programs that we have, that it's the driving force for us. Then we have all this monastic tradition that is packing up our own understanding, the mentality that is implemented in actions. And that's the difference in this mentality. And that's why we have these spiritual prayers, spiritual meetings, and people would come to have their own retreats, and then it becomes something that we could work on. But at the same time, if I see marginalized people and I'm not taking good actions for it, all these beautiful thoughts will be vanity. Because if you believe, if you think high and pray all the time, and then you see someone is in need and you just walk away, then what is the benefits here? Then we started to see, like, in the society, we need to make just a little difference for those who are in need. Wherever they are, and whatever steps they are in, we need to walk with. Every one of us, sometimes in their own personal life, they are passing through some problems, and they would feel like as if they are going through a tunnel that is very cold and it's very dark, and you don't know an end for it. And what you need most in those days, in this time, you need someone to hold your hand and walk with. You don't need someone from the other end telling you come. Or you don't need someone just to blame you for what you did. But you need someone who is kind and gentle, would come closer, communicate, and hold your hand and walk with. Then if they would have like a flashlight, they would be happy to put it on. And if they have a blanket, they will put it on you. Out of their own good heart, out of their own feelings together, feeling that I might be in the same position, in the same situation. Maybe they are now, maybe I'm next. Maybe I was in that situation before, and then I feel I need to share this experience with the others. Then we saw sometimes young boys who dropped out of school when they are very young, simply because they are to help their families. They go to the labor market and they are 10 and 11 years old, to go and work and get some pounds or to help their families. Who is mistaken here? Who is wronged here? It's the society. And I don't blame anyone. But the point here, I would go and walk with that child, hold his hand, and walk with. That's why we started a program, we called it Second Chance. Give them a second chance. And the Second Chance program that we are running here is to bring those young boys from different places, from the villages, those who dropped out of school and they are in labor market, they are losing their childhood. So we bring them in here and we have a camp for education for a few months and heal the trauma that it happens inside them, and to give them a vision, to let them see beyond and hope that they will start to look for being something more, something different. When they come, they have malnutrition, we need to cater for that. When they come, they needed to heal this trauma. They are very much hating the society, feeling there is no future. They will stay all their life as labor. They need to go back to their family to help them. And now, after a few months, they are able to change. They are able to see that I hope that I will become an engineer, a lawyer, a physician, whatever, a diplomat, whatever. And that hope, it will make a change in their life. And then just to put a mental image there in their life, but you need to put a ladder as well and walk with. And this is what we do. We bring them back to school. We appoint coaches in every village, and then they cater for them. And then we have refreshing courses for them. And this is what we are doing. We've been doing this for a few years, and every year we are able to bring back to school between 250 and 300. And that means that by time accumulating numbers are going higher and higher, then I feel like this is a small little thing that we can do for the society to make a change. And these young boys, they are not dumb, they are not lazy, they are men, they are good men. They started their manhood very early because this is what the society put on them. So I feel sympathized with them because I could have been one of them and what I could have done at that time. Here is one program that I love very much because it's human side of it. The other side, that we've seen a lot of young women who have been traumatized simply because she is a woman. Simply, that's nothing more than that. Society sometimes, when they don't understand the gender equality, lots of happenings happen because she is a woman. Then she looked as a target, as something that people would use. So we've seen lots of harassments, and so all these young women sometimes they face like sexual abuse or social abuse or whatever kind of trauma they have. Even they were not allowed to go to school because they need to be helped at home, or they need their help, they need their hands to work. And here we start again. We see these flowers that is falling down on the ground, and what we need to kneel down, take her. Don't worry about the thorns. You need, even if you have some blood in your fingers, It's okay. It's a beauty also of life that we need to bleed sometimes from inside to make a difference in the society. And here we take these young women, we have a program for them, empowering them. And then we call the program Worthy. You're worthy. Don't worry. You are much more than what you think of. And here we have it every year. We have lots of women that has been in this program. They meet a few times a year, and they have psychologists, psychiatrists, and the people who are helping them to get out of this trauma. And then we empower them with income generating projects, and we empower them with a support system, because when they go back to their villages, they will face traumas as well of rejection, and that's why we need to have a support system for them. But to do all this and other projects that we have, maybe Sarah will take you on a tour with the program that we are running here. But to have this, we need to prepare leaders for that. And leaders here are very much needed to be trained in the best way. So we have some programs on preparing leaders, not only spiritually, but also administrative-wise, leadership skills, development skills, whatever kind. And I think you will see some other programs with this kind of, we have few sessions for this. But the main thing as well, that how we are able to open up for people who are in need, not for money, not for development, but someone who is well-to-do sometimes, well-educated, and sometimes they need a stop in their life. We give a space for them to come and be there, because also, even though they are not poor, they are not they are not illiterate, but still they need a moment of truth in their life, to stop, to go back to yourself. And there is a space here that you are who you are. You are loved, not because you are loved because who you are. You are accepted because who you are. And then here, there is a space for that. We see a lot of people who are really in need for a refuge place. And Anaphora would be gladly opening her arms and embrace those people and give a refuge place until they stand up on their feet and walk their own life, their own way. Lots of places are made here with the meaning, so our buildings are talking. But one very important thing I always love to say, when we arrive here, it was desert. You still may see that the land is still desert. And when I saw it, it was desert. But I saw Anaphora in there. I didn't see the desert. I saw Anaphora. But what we did was very important. We started to dig, go deeper and deeper and deeper till we found the source of water. We pump it up and we start to water the surface of the earth. And the earth is changed. The land is changed. Then we have trees and fruits. We may be in our own personal life. Sometimes we feel we are barren. We have no fruits. It's too much problems. There's no hope. There's nothing left for me. I'm too exhausted. I'm consumed. All these kind of negative feelings that we may have. But wait a moment. If you see anaphora, then remember, go deeper, go down, go deeper in your own personal life. You meet the living water. We meet an example. We meet hope. We meet Christ in there. Pump the principles, pump in the power of God in you. You're the image of God. Pump it up and water the surface of the earth, of your own personal life. It becomes fruitful. It becomes more tender for you, and you may change your life. You may still remember, you may still see signs that the earth is desert, but it's still fruitful. Don't worry if you feel sometimes in your life that you are barren and you are desert, or you are deserted. But there is hope in you. And the hope in you is much more than you imagine. So that's why we put it on just basins, to let the people see that there is water in the desert. In your own deserted life, there is lots of hope. There is lots of water, that it may change your own personal life and the life of the others. And that's why inside us, we live in a mystery. That's why the accommodation units are built on like a question mark shape. It's a mystery, but the mystery of life will be enlightened when we are in prayer. That's why the dot is the prayer hall. We are enlightened. We are in, when we come where we are, stand still, wait, and stand still, pray, go deeper in your life. You will see a beautiful door that is open, full of light. Anaphora wanted to give you this gift. And the gift is the philosophy, the vision of Anaphora. A hand from underneath to lift every person, the whole person. It's yours. Take it, implement it in your own personal life, and implement it in your own context. So Anaphora is not a place, it's a vision, it's a spirit. And my joy is to see that Anaphora is in your heart, it's not in your mind only, because we cannot understand with our intellect only. We understand with the whole person, with the being. Then here, being becomes before doing. Then here is your gift, Anaphora is yours. Thank you so much.